What is up, my friends? You are very welcome along to tonight's late night agenda. As we know, the Reds aren't in action until Monday. The Leeds preview did go up earlier on today. I hope you guys have had a chance to watch it. And I want to speak about Jurgen Klopp's press conference today because it's fair to say our manager looks like he's under a lot of pressure and he doesn't look like he's enjoying life as much as he should be and as much as we would want him to be. Let me put that out there front and centre. I and everybody else that I know want Jurgen Klopp to succeed. But where we are taking a little bit of insult from our manager is when he speaks about the fans and makes comparisons to children. You've probably seen the presser today, and he alluded to the fact, and he went out of his way to try and distance it from Bellingham, but we know what he's speaking about. That football fans sometimes, or us, can be like a child at Christmas who asked for a Ferrari. We didn't ask for a Ferrari. You've been alluding to a Ferrari. A more apt comparison, Jurgen, may be that we've been telling this child for 2.5 years that you couldn't have presents last Christmas and you couldn't have presents the Christmas before because Mammy and Daddy were saving to pay Santa Claus for the Ferrari that we've been alluding to you that you're going to get. So I don't think it was really fair from our manager, and I think it's rubbed a lot of us up the wrong way. Let me again say that first and foremost, I and everybody else I know wants Jurgen Klopp to succeed. But we can't ignore the fact that he is becoming a part of the problem. If he is really on board with what FSG say, then that is going to put a huge dent in his legacy. He's going to look back at this time and just realise that he probably should have been our champion, our vocal presence in the boardroom, and somebody who should be standing up for what he knows will dictate his legacy. So Jurgen Klopp speaking about Jude Bellingham or not speaking about Jude Bellingham is kind of irrelevant to the greater point here. Ultimately, we know that it was Klopp's decision to hang off. He was too loyal to the midfield that did so well for so many years, but was warned by Michael Edwards, by us football fans, and by everybody probably, that it needed a refresh. But he decided that he wanted to say, no, I know my lads, I trust them, and it's blown up in his face. So we have to accept that. It's blown up in his face. So now we have the opportunity to put it right. But what we're seeing is the owners again briefing that because of no Champions League football, the pot is going to be a lot less. Now, I'm going to say to you guys that we've spent about 234 million quid, excuse me, since 2016 on transfers, as per Sky Sports News. And that's net. Now, that is less than 10 other Premier League clubs, including Wolves. Now let that sink in for a second, because remember, throughout the year, we've read the articles, we've seen the stuff about FSG and the valuation of the football club and the turnover increasing, the commercial partnerships increasing, the brilliant deal with Nike and the 30% sell-on of any Nike Liverpool branded products. And we've been, told how great and clever the owners are. Now we're in a situation where the facts are actually being laid bare and the investment that we've seen into the team just isn't there. And the one excuse we always get trotted out is wages, wages, wages. Okay, but again, you were the ones who made the decision to extend Jordan Henderson for another couple of years. You were the ones who made the decision to extend Mohamed Salah, which I agree with. Mohamed Salah is the outlier here. Mohamed Salah is the one, if you were to break a structure for anybody, certainly who has deserved it. And physically, Mo doesn't show any signs of receding, unlike Jordan Henderson, unlike James Milner. Now, you can't say to us fans that you've suddenly dawned on you that you need a rebuild. You need a huge rebuild in the summer, because we know that the next step is going to be, well, we don't have the money for the rebuild. If we really do want to clear the decks and start again, then in my humble opinion, you're going to have to sell Fabinho, sell Jordan Henderson, allow James Milner to be released from his contract when his contract is up at the end of the season, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, Bobby Firmino, Adrian San Miguel, and use that money towards the rebuild. You can't say we need a rebuild and funds are tight and then start briefing that you want to extend James Milner. It's lunacy. So if this rebuild has been more than he expected, then he has to act ruthlessly. Because for me, the only midfielders that should be kept at the football club going into next season are Stefan Bajcetic, Thiago, who has 1 year to go on his contract at the end of this season, Curtis Jones, if he wants to keep him around for the homegrown quota, and because, he's coming back from an injury and maybe give him one more season to see what he can do, Harvey Elliott, Fabio Carvalho. Everybody else, see ya, bye-bye, not good enough. And that's the truth. So whether the manager really wants to double down on this and say that we need to rebuild, or he wants to just stay with the status quo, is going to be interesting to see. We cannot continue to allow the wool to be pulled over our eyes by the owners. Every single window, there is spin, there is lies, and there is nonsense put out there into the media. And Liverpool fans are so browbeaten now by FSG's nonsense that we're starting to feel like maybe we're the problem. Maybe we shouldn't have the ambition that we have. You have every right to be ambitious for a football club that has taken steps forward over the past 10 years or so, that have put themselves back up to the top of the mountain. Nothing wrong with wanting to stay at the top of that mountain, because you don't want to go up there to immediately go back down. And I've always been open and honest and saying to you guys that my biggest fear under Jurgen Klopp's tenure is that we leave the football club, or he leaves the football club, and we look back at it and we have regrets. We have regrets about what could have been. So I think Jurgen Klopp needs to give a signal to fans. Now, I get people will say to me, Craig, he's not going to go up against his employers. But let me just give you one sentence that I think Jurgen Klopp could say in a press conference that would let fans know that he's a little bit annoyed. Because there are some people who are annoyed at the fact that Jurgen Klopp is accepting of this situation. That line from the Chris Bascom article that came out and said that Jurgen Klopp is fully on board with the decision to move on from the Jude Bellingham transfer. That is unacceptable. It is unacceptable because we've known how much it was going to cost. Now, you can talk about it going up 15 or 20 million quid, but let's be honest here. Would that really be a deal breaker? No. The intent was never there to sign the player, in my opinion, if the owners are going this way. Now, the will was there from the player side. The will was there from Jurgen Klopp's side, and a deal could have been done. But all he needs to say in a press conference, rather than his stupid analogies about kids and Ferraris, is come out and say, ask yourselves this. Do you really think that I wouldn't want to work with Jude Bellingham? Do you really think that I wouldn't want Jude Bellingham at Liverpool? That's all he has to say. That lets us know exactly where the problem lies. That lets us know exactly who is causing this. Because it's the man's legacy that's on the line. And it's his relationship with us. That's the part that needs to be kept here. That's the part that needs to be treasured here and protected. But it needs to be a two-way street. So yes, I'm aware I can be a hothead. I'm aware Liverpool fans and all football fans can be reactionary. But we're also sick of being spoken down to like idiots. We're sick of being told that we're so clever, you mere mortals don't understand. We do understand. We can see what's unfolding before our eyes, and we can see the same stories getting trotted out window after window after window. So what we need to do is act big in this summer. We need to start putting positive vibes out there. And us as fans, what we need to do together is to call out our owners. Because all this is going to be is just treading water until they sell up or until Jurgen Klopp leaves. And we can't allow it. We have every right to want and expect better. Again, more than 10 clubs spent more money net on transfers since 2016 than the fifth richest club in world football. And that's just 10 Premier League clubs. I'm not talking about 10 clubs in world football. And you can include Wolverhampton Wanderers in that list. So whatever FSG say, however they try to spin it, the narrative is as follows. You are too tight with money, you are too risk averse, and your own risk aversity has been what has put us into this position where we have no Champions League football, come a miracle maybe next season. And that's where we are. So you either want to put it right and you have the stomach for the fight, or you don't. But trying to say that now you need to go out there and buy 3 or 4 substandard midfielders or 3 or 4 lower tier midfielders, it isn't going to wash. You have been responsible for what has unfolded with your own penny pinching. Now it is time to act up or sell up. And I cannot say that clearly enough. We as fans need to be vocal. So yes, I'm aware match going Reds, top Reds, whatever you want to call some of these people may be happy. That is of course their right. But it's also our right and the rest of us to speak up and say, we wasted an entire season. We wasted a season of the talents of Virgil van Dijk, of Alisson Becker, of Mohamed Salah, of Jurgen Klopp's management of the football club. Because of what? Because of a pursuit of a dream that we knew we were probably never going to get with these owners. That's what it boils down to. FSG are a master at spinning and manipulation. We need to be masters at the one thing that they hate. Negative publicity, and we need to speak up and we need to come together, or we will be also Rans. We will be looking at 6th, 7th place for the next 3-4 years. That's not what we want. That's not what Jurgen deserves, and that's not what this football club deserves from the position it's in. So it's over to you, my friends. Let me know your thoughts on the manager situation, the owner situation, and where we are right now as a club. Thank you for your time. Appreciate it. Have yourselves a wonderful weekend.